Hello everybody, welcome to the webinar for the BA Fashion course here at Ravensbourne. My name is Gurmit Muthari and I'm the course leader. I'm just going to introduce you to all the course team here at Ravensbourne. At Year 1 leaders, we have Mio Jin, who's an Associate Senior Lecturer. She's also a creative pattern cutter and who has immense industry experience. Alongside her as a Year 1 leader, we also have Neil Adams, Associate Senior Lecturer, Specialist in Menswear, and again has amazing industry experience, working with amazing brands and also his own personal label as well. Year 2 leaders, we have Anne Brennan, who's Associate Senior Lecturer and a creative pattern cutter. Alongside her, we have Andrew Fionda and Elodie Gerard, Associate Senior Lecturers, who are both designers. And Andrew Fionda also was an esteemed fashion designer with his own label, Pierce Fionda. Elodie Gerard has extensive fashion design experience, working in Paris for the likes of Yves Saint Laurent, Chloe, Cacharel, and also in the UK, top London design brands such as Roxanda and Paul Smith. Also, part of the fashion team, we have our fashion technicians who work in the atelier. We have Liz Flores Mabel and Coralie Sol, who all also have immense training and also experience within the fashion industry at atelier level. Mabel had worked as a right-hand person to the late and great Alexander McQueen until his passing. So she's bringing all those lovely skills and creativity within the manufacturing element of fashion design into the studio and sharing this with the with our students here at Ravensbourne. So all in all, if we put all our combined experience together, we as a group of tutors, we have over 250 years of experience within the fashion industry, which we are able to share with our students. So the philosophy at Ravensbourne, it's quite simple. It's contemporary, brave, fashion forward, offering a rigorous and challenging 3-year experience. And that's really important for us because students are investing a lot of money within the course, and therefore we feel it's really important that we are able to give them a really a strong, challenging experience on the course whereby they can really flourish and experiment and also push their ideas further. On the right-hand side of this screen, on this image, you can see one of our ex-students, Eden, who is now has his own label called Art School, which has just recently been showing at London Fashion Week. Our core values on the course are that we promote independent thinking and processing. All our strategies that we work with, our teaching strategies, are aimed in creating a personal handwriting for the student. What this means is that we are pushing our students to ask new questions and provoke new ideas. Therefore, you are really establishing your own independent handwriting. As a designer, this is a real key skill and attribute that you will need to take forward into the industry. So some of the unique qualities that our students have is that not only are they creative and conceptual, but they're also adaptable and business aware. And that's because the way we teach and the curriculum that has been planned has this ability to give you an awareness from being conceptual and creative, but also having the ability to sort of check and work with industry as well on live briefs. So you will see this more in the next few slides. We have a strong industry focus, offering live briefs. So in the past, we've worked with strong brands such as Hardy Amy's, River Island, Topshop, Jean-Pierre Braganza, Peter Jensen, Todd Lynn, Gap, Holly Fulton, Giles Deacon, Roxanda. And usually these are all taken place on year 2. We have a strong work placement model, which is also in year 2. and I will talk about this a bit more in depth a bit later on. But as you can see from the slide, our students do venture out from London, and they do go to New York, Milan, Paris, Antwerp, Amsterdam, and they have, you know, some of them have been at some great names so far, which I'll go through in a minute. Added value features. So alongside all the teaching that you'll get, we also bring in some amazing speakers to come in, share their industry experience with the students. In the past, we've had Alexander Schulman, who was the creative editor at Vogue, Bruce Oldfield, who's a couture designer, who came in and they spoke about their experience for the past 30, 40 years and how the industry is changing as well. And it's a great opportunity for students to sort of ask questions and get an insight of the real workings of the fashion industry. Also, we have Rave Shorts, which are opportunities to upskill. So you can sign up to short courses from creative pattern cutting to fashion illustration, sort of CAD drawings as well. So these are all really short little courses which could last to 3 to 6 weeks, which offer you that little in-depth and extracurricular activity. All our students at Ravensbourne, once you enroll onto a course at Ravensbourne, you get the opportunity to download all the full Adobe suite, which includes Photoshop, Illustrator, etc. So this is absolutely free for all our students for the time you are here at Ravensbourne. Alongside that, we've got specialist software, Lecturer, pattern cutting, and SolidWorks, which is a 3D design and printing software. And these softwares, again, are worth a lot of money, but for all our students who enroll onto our courses, this is absolutely free. So, year one. For us, this is where it all begins for you. This is where your journey begins, and you are introduced to so many new skills and processes. You're introduced to design development, research, 3D into 3D introduction to pattern cutting, creative cutting, manufacturing, digital textiles, digital pattern cutting, fashion illustration, research, etc. And one of the key philosophies, but one of our part of our teaching strategies are that we teach you the basic skills, the rules, and then we expect you to break the rules as well through creative cutting, through creative design, manufacturing, and also creative designing as well. This will help you to really infuse and start to create your own personal language as well. So term one is introduction to fashion. And usually this is our white project, and it involves designing a dress. Also, with this, in term one, we have mapping your profession, and this is a bit more sort of insight of contextualizing what the fashion industry is all about, talking about sort of topical issues around ethical fashion, sustainability, sort of editorial work, how do we feel about sort of production in the third world countries, etc., etc., etc. And it's up to you to make your point of view and how you would like to move forward as a designer in the next 3 to 5 years. In term two is introduction to textiles, which is your shirt project. So you'll be introduced to all the techniques that surround the textile sort of discipline, and you have the opportunity to work with the digital embroidery machines that we have here, and also the digital technology with printing, and also 3D printing and laser cutting as well. Contextual studies, again, will introduce you to the beginnings of your dissertation that you'll be doing in year three. In term three is your digital design directives, which is a trouser project. And again, this is an introduction to more digital technologies, Photoshop, Illustrator, CAD drawings, and also the Lecturer pattern cutting software that we have at Ravensbourne. So by the end of year one, you will have completed a dress, shirt, and trouser project. All sounds pretty boring, but it's not. Each project is a creative project. Like I said at the very beginning, we start with the basics, you'll learn the basics, and then you will then be encouraged to break the rules and form your personal handwriting. And here we have some examples of students developing some 2D work, some beautiful 2D rendering and design development. But then the question here is, how do these beautiful drawings take shape into a real 3D garment? And that's what fashion is all about. It's 3D product. It's not about a drawing. It has to come alive. And that relationship between 2D and 3D is so important here at Ravensbourne. And here you see some more examples, student work, and you can see how each individual student has its own individual writing, and that's what we really push here and encourage. So by end of year one, we expect each student to have their own personal handwriting. Year two, we call this our engagement with the industry. It's your industry year. Every project you do here is industry focused, and you have opportunity to collaborate, not with industry, but other courses as well. And that's a key part of the philosophy here at Ravensbourne, is about collaboration. So term one is a collaboration unit, which is also a denim unit. Okay, and we've worked with, for the last 3-4 years, with a huge brand, American brand called the VF Corporation, who own brands like Wrangler, Lee, North Face, Vans, and so many other brands as well. They're a multi-billion-dollar organization, and they've chosen Ravensbourne fashion course to work with, and we have been working with them for the last 4 to 5 years, and they really sponsor our students really well, and they really do sort of encourage our students to push boundaries and really take the design element to the next level in realization to the denim brief. Term two is external brief, and here we usually work with a strong industry partner from a contemporary side of the market level from fashion. And in the past, we worked with Roxanda, Todd Lynn, Holly Fulton, who are sort of regulars at London Fashion Week. Last year, in 2018, we worked with an international brand called Haider Ackermann, based in Paris. So this was an amazing opportunity to work more with an international brand, focused brand, and this really was a really great opportunity for students to sort of look at fashion and their design capabilities on a more international perspective. Term three is your work placement opportunity, where we encourage students to start to look at work placement. This process will start in term two, but term three this is where you start to really go out into the workplace for the minimum of 9 weeks. This is the unit that you have to do. And students have ventured out to places like New York with Oscar de la Renta. In the past, we've had students go to Antwerp for working with Haider Ackermann, with Anna de la Mista. And we've got students who have gone to Amsterdam working with Victor and Rolf. Students who stay in London go to some amazing brands like Hussein Chalayan, Roxanda. We've had students go to Burberry, etc., etc. So this is a great opportunity for you as students to go and test the industry and see where you fit in, and have that experience, real life experience of the industry, and bring this back into your studio practice as well. So to wrap up year two, it's it's all about live briefs. We have an opportunity for off-site trade show with the Denim Project, which we've done in the Truman Brewery and the Barge House. There's possibilities of doing industry private views as well to show your work off to industry specialist people, and magazines as well, so you get that great coverage of your work very early on. Year three is your exit platform. This is where the skills from year one and year two all come together, and you really start to define who you are and what you want to be once you leave Ravensbourne. So term one is where you have an opportunity to start to test your ideas for your final collection, which is called the pre-collection. And you have to do 2 outfits, and also alongside that you also are working on British Fashion Council competitions and Graduate Fashion Week competitions. Term 2, you then take those ideas much further and develop your collection of 6 outfits, whereby we will have industry standard fittings, and changes will be made, whereby at this point we expect our students to have real ideas both in 2D and 3D going forward for final manufacturing and sampling. In term 3, you start to really finalize all the ideas in 2D and 3D, and you start the final sample process of making your collection. So across all 3 terms, term 1, term 2, and term 3, you will, alongside your collection work, you will also be working on your portfolio and all the British Fashion Council competitions and so forth. So our students in the past have had a strong history of student success. So from 2000 to 2016, fashion has won 20 major awards at Graduate Fashion Week. We've won from the Best Collection, the Gold Award, Best Print Collections, Best Menswear, Best Women's Wear. And as you can see from the image here, we have the Best Portfolio Award, which Emma DeFries won in 2018, which led her to a job straight away at Karen Millen. In the past, we've also won the British Fashion Council competitions set by Max Mara, Burberry, Mulberry, Warehouse, and Stradivarius. So when our students leave our graduate profile, fashion students leave with quite a varied portfolio of skills and attributes. So this allows them to seek employment in many areas of the fashion industry, not just contemporary fashion at the high end, but also the mid-market level as well. And you can see an example here of Miranda Stanford, who in 2015 secured a job at Oscar de la Renta in New York straight after she graduated. Student successes, we've talked about those in the previous slides. Here, this is a student, Terence Cartwright Foster, looking very pleased with himself there, as he's just won the Stradivarius competition. So he was shortlisted by Stradivarius in January in 2017. He was flown out, interviewed by the creative team there, and by the time he got back, he realized that he'd actually won the competition. Not only did he win prize money, but also he secured a job before he actually even finished his course at Ravensbourne. Before graduation, he was already secured a job, which is absolutely amazing. This is Chloe Menzies as well, who was the runner-up for the Portfolio Award, and she also secured a job with John Lewis Partnership, and she's working with all the design collaborations there they have with some of the top designers in the UK and internationally as well. So she's doing all the collections there at this very present time. And as you can see, she's got a very personal, colourful and creative handwriting. These are some of the students that were featured in Vogue as up-and-coming designers of the future. Vogue Italia, they usually do a September issue, which they highlight all the amazing graduates that are coming up from all over the world, international. So this is an international report from Vogue Italia that comes out every September. And here we have 2 of our students here featured. Grace Greer and also Kat Howley. Grace Greer actually was a winner of the Burberry project, and she went on and secured a 6-month work placement at Burberry. And Kat Howley at the moment is working on her personal collection to be launched very soon. So career destinations, where do our students end up? Where do they go? And it's really great to see our students having an international perspective from the very beginning when they come into Ravensbourne and they develop these skills, and it's great to see them expand and go to these amazing brands. So on this slide, you can see the variety of brands where our students are working at the moment, from Mulberry, Burberry. Can I just say, the creative director at Mulberry was an ex-student at Ravensbourne. At Burberry, we have at least 6 students working there at the very high end of senior designers. We have students working at Karen Millen, and in fact, from this year's cohort, we've had 2 students who have been shortlisted for an interview and possible job opportunities there. In Topshop, Nike, Topman, ASOS, COS, Marks and Spencers, River Island, Stella McCartney. Once again, we have students working at the very high end within this design brand, working from the menswear department and women's wear, and doing really well at Stella McCartney. At least 4 students are working there at this very moment. Students are working at Chloe, Hardy Amis, or All Saints. In fact, the brand creators at All Saints were ex-Ravensbourne students. The creative director at Reese is an ex-Ravensbourne student. We have students working at Vivienne Westwood, Alexander McQueen, Oscar de la Renta in New York, Christopher Kane, Giles Deacon, Tom Ford, Joseph, Celine, Givenchy. And just going on to Givenchy for a while, the creative director of this particular brand is Claire Wade Keller, who also designed the very famous wedding dress recently. And we're really privileged to have her as part of our alumni. Students are working at Victor and Rolf as well. So these are some of the feedback that we've been given by some of our students, which is really positive. You know, and they go on to talk about their time and their experience at Ravensbourne. So during the tough times, and there were always were, I was in the safety of an environment that allowed me to push myself creatively and sometimes fail, but ultimately grow and expand to the designer I have become. So this was Miranda, who, like I said, who's at Oscar de la Renta. So again, it's the safety of an environment where we allow students to be experimental, but sometimes those experiments don't come off, they fail. But that gives an opportunity for students to also grow and expand their sort of design thinking as well. This is James Breckley, which I talked about earlier, who's now the creative director at Reese. So this is some of the students' feedback that we've got recently from our student liaison committees. So students are extremely pleased with the course structure, teaching and outcomes. We are paying a lot of money to be here, but all students are saying they are happy to pay that much because it's worth it. And that really is encouraging to see the efforts that our tutors make with their teaching plans and their delivery. It's really paying off, and students appreciate that because they are actually learning and getting money, value for money. At our NSS, which is the National Student Survey, 93% are overall satisfied with the quality of the course and the way it's delivered. 92% of our students within 6 months go on to work within the industry or go on to go and do MAs at Central St Martin's or the Royal College of Art. So that's a really good high number of our students within 6 months find work within the fashion industry. So, fashion at Ravensbourne. Simple, we want you to be brave and take creative risks. This is one of our key things that we really do ask our students to take seriously and really sort of push those boundaries and take your creativity further so that when you do graduate, you have an amazing opportunity to sort of step into a job of your sort of liking. Thank you very much. If there's any questions, please do let us know. Okay, so somebody's just sent in a question about class sizes, how many students per class, and how many days of classes there are per week. So this is, again, this is part of our strategy, how we teach our students. I said at the very, very beginning, we take our teaching and delivery very seriously. So the class sizes, usually are between 22 and 25 students per class. So every pattern cutting class, we will have between 22 and 25 students. For every design class, there will be 22 to 25 students in the design class. And also for manufacturing, we will actually halve that into 12 students or 13 students, whatever the sums are at that point. That means students are getting a lot more sort of one-to-one teaching and also more dedicated teaching for particular students or the group as well. Okay, if there are big lectures for certain units like mapping your profession or contextual studies, these are done in big groups because it lends itself to big groups, because it's about lecturing, it's not about key skills delivery. So fashion contact time, there is at least 2 to 3 days a week in relation to your which units are being taught. So there is a commitment of being at Ravensbourne as a student for at least 3 days a week. Next question is, what is it? Okay, are there any examples of collaboration work for the final major project with other students? Again, at the very beginning, I did start to say that collaboration is a big part of what Ravensbourne University is all about. That's a key philosophy of how we work and how the building is actually designed as well. So our fashion students are really good because they go out and we from day one we force them to go and collaborate with graphic students, with photography students, with film students, so they are able to really push their own fashion language, creativity and presentation. So by the end of the first year, our students are already doing amazing photo shoots of their work. They're making amazing fashion films with collaboration with real film students as well. So that's really, so that philosophy is embedded into the first year straight away, which continues into second year. And then students start to evolve this relationship, you know, where they share their sort of likes and dislikes on Facebook, and they start to collaborate with each other there. We will see a really good example in a minute of collaboration, and this is this year's lookbook for this year 2018 of our students, and actually this is all shot and directed by our photography students here at Ravensbourne, who are on the digital photography course. And they have actually been shooting our lookbook for the past 3 years, and they've done an amazing job. They work really closely with our fashion students. And this is one of our students, Megan Day, who was actually shortlisted at Graduate Fashion Week for the Gold Award. And this is Chantal Guan, and who's also, she was actually shortlisted and was the runner-up for the Gold Award for the Best Women's Wear Collection at GFW. And some other shots here of our students. And as you can see, the quality here of the work is of very high standard. And every collection has its unique creativity, handwriting, and expertise as well. Different fabrications, different type of cutting, and playfulness of color and fabrication. Thank you very much. Okay, so that's the end of this webinar. If you have any other questions, please do email me. But for now, thank you very much and goodbye.